Hi, it's time for a chime video. What you're looking at here is an 8-note chime bass. This is from a model LD49, and the LD49 is called the Baronial, and it's a really nice NuTone chime. It has a solid oak cover with 4 sort of faux stained glass panels, and behind each panel is a little light so they glow at night, and it has a really nice look. They made the Baronial for a long time. I think originally it came out in the early 80s, and they made it all the way up through probably around 2004, 2005. This particular bass is from an LD49 Baronial that was made in 1985. This was sent in by a customer named Judy, and Judy lives in Pennsylvania, and there's a little bit of a story that goes with this. So she's had this in her house since she moved in when the house was new, and the chime had always worked fine. And then probably a year ago or so, it started to act up a little bit. It wouldn't ring all the notes all the time. Sometimes it would miss a note. And sometimes it would play part of the 8 notes and then it would seem to stop. And then maybe a few hours later, it might play the rest of the notes all on its own. And it started to act up, and she kind of lived with that for a while and put up with it. And then finally it got to the point one day that it just stopped working altogether. It wouldn't ring at all. So being inquisitive and sort of a do-it-yourselfer kind of gal, she decided to look into it to see what was going on with it. One of the things that she noticed as she took the cover off and started to look at things, she was looking for loose wires or something that was broken or something like that, she noticed that, well, the lights were all out. And so immediately she thought, well, maybe the transformer that powers it isn't working properly and maybe it needs to be replaced. So she went down to the local home improvement store and she bought a brand new transformer and she installed it herself. So you know, props to her for doing that and not paying someone to come out and do it. And she found that the new transformer, it was the same. The lights weren't lit up and the chime didn't work. So she looked around some more and she found us, and I talked to her on the phone and I told her, well, your chime probably didn't need a new transformer, you already know that, and it probably just needs some general service and so on because they get old and they need to be cleaned and things get sticky and they don't work freely and all those, it's all the regular kind of stuff. This is not going to be a chime bass rebuild or servicing video. I've already actually made a video on a bass just like this, and there'll be a link at the end of this video. You can go and watch that one if you need to see how to do it. And what she asked me was, she said, well, how come the lights aren't lit up? Doesn't that mean the transformer was bad? And I said, no, not necessarily. It means that you have a light bulb that's out. And she said, well, but none of them are lit up. And it occurred to me when I was talking to her that we've never really talked about chimes with lights and how the lights are wired and why they go out and all that kind of stuff. So I told her that I was going to make a video about this because she gave me a good idea, and that's what this video is going to be about. You can see I have this powered up here on our bench power supply, and if I turn the lights off, you can see that they all glow nicely just like they're supposed to. These lights in this chime bass, these are wired up in series. And what that means is you have one little black wire right here, and it goes into one side of the first bulb, and then it jumps across into, it comes out of the second side of the first bulb, then it jumps over to the first connection on the second bulb, it comes out of the second bulb, and then it goes over to the third bulb. So they're all looped one after the other after the other. And the way you can kind of look at this is, these are like old-fashioned Christmas tree lights for all of you who are old enough to remember that, where you would have one bulb goes out and the whole string goes out. Well, that's exactly how this works. This is a string of lights. So for instance, if we pretend that we're going to have a burnt out bulb and we're going to pull out bulb number 2 here, take out bulb number 2, you break the circuit and all the lamps go out. Oh, and by the way, these are not bulbs, these are lamps. When you search for these, you search for lamps, not bulbs. If we put it back in, we complete the circuit, and they all come back on again. So it's not uncommon at all that one of her 4 original lamps went out, it burnt out, and it broke the circuit, because if the filament, the part that glows, breaks, which is how light bulbs fail, it breaks the circuit and they go off. So she probably only had one of the 4 that was actually burnt out, and it broke the circuit and all the lamps went out. When we did service on this one, because this has already been done, we of course replace all 4 lamps because it's just silly for her to send it to us all the way from Pennsylvania and have us just put one in when all of the other ones are 33 years old. And if you get 33 years out of a set of little miniature lamps like this, that's a pretty good deal. That lasts a long time. In most modern NuTone chimes, I would say everything made from the early 80s through the end of the 2008 or so range, they all use the same type of lamps. These are miniature lamps number 259s. And 259s are called wedge lamps because, as you can see, the bottom of the bulb is glass, and you can see the 2 little filament wires. They're kind of looped around and bent over, one on one side and one on the other. There is no metal base, there's no threads, it's not a bayonet mount or a threaded mount. It's a wedge bulb, so you just wedge the glass end of the bulb into the socket. So these are number 259 wedge lamps, and you can buy these almost everywhere nowadays because of the internet. You can go online. I actually looked today on Amazon, and you can buy them. If you buy them individually, they're kind of expensive. If you buy them like in a 10-pack, they work out to be about 50 cents a piece, which isn't too bad, because even at the wholesaler that we buy our components and things from, they sell miniature lamps also. We're paying about, in quantity, we're paying about 40 cents a bulb. And that's, lamp. And so it's not bad. So even if you have to buy 10, that's okay, because if one goes out, you should replace all 4. And you can always put the rest of them, just sit them in here in a little envelope on the chassis, and that way you'll know where they are when you need them, because if you put them in the drawer in the kitchen, you'll never find them again. Again, the bulbs are wired in series. Power comes in on one end. It goes through each lamp, across the chime, and then back on the other side here on another wire. So any break in this circuit, the lamps go out and they don't light up anymore. I hope you found this interesting and helpful. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up on YouTube. Thumbs up, because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the wheel, put in your email address, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. There'll be 2 links at the end of this video. You can link them. There'll be a link on the rebuild video for this type of chime base, and there'll be another link which goes to one of my favorite videos, which is called Stop Replacing Transformers. Because fortunately, Judy didn't pay an electrician $150 to come out and put up a transformer just to find out that's not what she needed. She just bought one at the home improvement store, and she said she can live with the $12 that it cost her. So that was pretty good. So I applaud people that try to do things on their own and not waste a lot of money. So watch the other 2 videos. Don't replace the transformer. Check and make sure first. Anyway, that's all for today. See you on the next video.